Okay. So we are speaking about the flag register of 8086. Just a confirmation. Uh, we are discussing this Unit 4 8086, and we had taken just now the review of general purpose registers called as AX, BX, CX, DX, segment registers called as code segment, data segment, extra segment, stack segment. Then the index registers called as source index and the destination index. Pointer registers called as the stack, so SP and DP, source index and the destination index, and the stack pointer and the base pointer. These were the registers which we had discussed. We are also discussing the flag registers. Let us look at the flags. Where are the flags available? The flags are available in the execution unit part of the 8086 architecture. In the 8086 architecture, I find the flag registers in the execution unit component. It means they'll be doing some activity related to the execution. What execution? Execution of the program. Who will be executing the program? CPU will be executing the program. But in that, actual computations will be done by whom? The computations will be done by the arithmetic logic unit. So, whatever the calculation arithmetic logic unit does, the results of that will be available in the flag registers. Also, the flag register contains bits. Okay, the flag register contains bit which will be controlling the CPU operations. Okay. Now, coming to your flag registers, you can see here. Coming to your flag registers, how many are there? 16, 0 to 15. But out of that, at some places you are written X, 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 X. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At 7 places, this X is used. At 7 places, this X is written. Means what? It is not used. This X is written means it is not used. So, rest of the flags will be either giving the result of the computation of the ALU, or will be giving some control information, So, if you look at the flag registers, you can divide your flag register into two categories. One is the condition code or the status flags. The other one is the control flags. So these are the two categories. Both the categories I will be mentioning in the chat window so that we can have an emphasis on that that we are highlighted. As far as flag registers are concerned, and typing in the chat window that there are two categories of flag registers. One category of flag registers is called as status flags, and the other category of flag registers are called as control flags. Status flags and the control flags. So just you can also read in the chat window what I mentioned, that there are two categories of flag registers. One category is called as the status flag, and the other category is called as the control flag. Okay. Now, we had also said that basically the flag register will be containing the results after the computation, by the ALU. See, you can see there is a direction, a line from ALU to flag register, Now, we had also mentioned that there are two categories of flag registers. One is status flag and the other one is control flag. Now, as far as control flag is concerned, you will come to know that the control flag consists of the direction flag, the control flag consists of the interrupt flag, and the control flag consists of the trap flag. Direction flag, interrupt flag, and the trap flag, these come under the control flag. It means what? Rest of the flags are what? Rest of the flags are the status flags. So we'll be mentioning direction, interrupt, and trap. In the chat window as control flag. So control flag consists of what? Direction, inter, and tab. So I put in the chat window and read in the chat window. There are two lines in the chat window. Repeat. First line says that flag registers, two categories of flag registers. One is status flags and the other one is control flags. As far as control flags are concerned, three are the control flags: direction flag, inter flag, and a tab flag. It means what? The rest of the flags will be the status flags. Which are the rest of the flags? Along with the overflow flag, sign flag is there, zero flag is there, auxiliary carry flag is there, parity flag is there, carry flag is there. So these are all the status flags. These are all the status flags. Okay. Now I will be going very slow. But before going very slow, just two things. You are with me in the class. You are listening to me in the class. You are understanding whatever I am saying. So put yes or say yes orally. I'll proceed further. So are you listening to me? Are you understanding what I am saying? Boys? Rameshri, are you understanding? Pujita, are you all understanding? Is it okay? Should I proceed further? Saket, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే అడగండి. Otherwise, it will be difficult for me to know whether you are understanding or not. Anyways, I'll go very slow now. I'll increase the size of this diagram also. See here. This is your flag register and this is your ALU. This is your 8086. 8086 is a CPU. It's a processor. It's a microprocessor. So CPU has ALU, arithmetic logic unit. It will be doing the arithmetic calculations and logical calculations. The results of that will be visible in the flag. But the other things are also there. The control flags are also there. So we mentioned two categories of flags. One category of flag contains this DIT, direct interrupt flag, which are called as the control flag. The other category of flags are called as what? They are called the status flags. They are called as the status flag. Now let's look at the status flag. The first status flag is the sign flag. Now see the word sign. I know that there is a positive sign and there is a negative sign. Okay. So if I do some calculation, the result may be positive or negative. The result may be positive or negative. Okay. So if the result of some calculation is negative, this sign flag will be set. It is as simple as that. This sign flag will be set. So next is the zero flag. The result of the comparison or the result of the calculation, okay, if it is zero, then this flag will be set. Then this flag will be set. Next is you have the auxiliary carry flag. Okay, so auxiliary carry means what? Again, it is only carry. It is only carry. But if we are having some calculation, means what? We are performing some addition, we are performing some subtraction. Okay, then if we are using the lowest nibble means last 3 bits. If we are using the last 3 bits, then this auxiliary carry flag will be set. You should listen this carefully, this line. Last 3 bits if they are used, then the auxiliary carry bit will be set. Now coming to the parity flag, you know the discussion regarding parity. In other subjects also you came across parity called as odd parity and even parity. Okay, but this parity flag will be set This parity flag will be set if the lower byte of the result contains even number of ones. Parity flag eppudu set aitadi? Parity flag will be set when you have even number of ones. When you have even number of ones in the lower byte. When you have even number of ones in the lower byte. This was about the status flags. This was about the status flags. Now coming to the control flags, we have direction, interrupt, and trap. We have direction, interrupt, and flag. Okay. Now direction flag. Where is the direction flag? This is at the 10th position. See here, D. D means direction flag. Now, what is the purpose of the direction flag? Direction flag will be used for string manipulation instructions. Direction flag will be used for string manipulation instruction. So let us say the direction flag is set to 0. Let us say the direction flag is set to 0. Then the processing of the string begins from the lower address to the higher address. The process of the string begins from the lower address to the higher address. If it is set to 1, then it will be opposite of that. Then it will be opposite of that. Okay. Next is the interrupt flag. If this interrupt flag is set, it means what? The CPU has to recognize the interrupts generated. The CPU has to recognize the interrupts generated. Otherwise, if this bit is not set, CPU will be ignoring all the interrupts. CPU will be ignoring all the interrupts. Next is very, very important control flag called as the trap flag. Next is very, very important control flag called as the trap flag. Okay. If we are setting this trap flag, then what happens is there will be the CPU will be going to a stage called as the single step execution mode. We are speaking about the trap. We are speaking about trap, and now I'll be writing one word called as single step execution mode. So I have written in the chat window. You can read in the chat window. What word I have written? I have written single step execution mode. So when this single step execution mode will come, it will come when this T at the 8th position. When this T at the 8th position, this is a T flag. T flag is a trap flag. This trap flag is set to 1. This trap flag is set to 1. It means what? Every time executing one instruction, and after executing the one instruction, the control will go to the trap interrupt. The control will go to the trap interrupt service routine. Hopefully you understood this. So this is very, very important topic actually, called as the flag registers of 8086. Most of the question papers have repeatedly asked questions about this. Okay. Now, as far as the last flag, which is the overflow flag, is concerned, whenever some calculation is done, the result of the calculation is overflown. Is overflown means it takes the sign bit, then this flag will be set. So this is all about the flag registers. This was all about the 8086 architecture. You can see your 8086 architecture. There is an instruction queue. These are the segment registers. This is the instruction pointer. These are the general purpose registers, pointer and the index registers. These are the flag registers. And this is our discussion. Now, what topic we are discussing? Let us look at the syllabus again. Topic we are discussing is Unit 4. In Unit 4, 8086 view. What we have discussed, all this general purpose register, segment register, pipelining, flag register. Just now we discussed flag register. What is remaining? The pin diagram or signals on the pin. All the pins on the 8086 is to be discussed. What else is remaining? Addressing mode of 8086 is also remaining. What we'll be doing today? We'll be discussing the 8086 CPU pin diagram. What we'll be doing tomorrow? We'll be discussing the addressing modes of 8086. This is our plan. This is our plan. So let us look at the 8086 pin diagram. So I will ask, just take few seconds to just watch this image. Take few seconds to watch this image. 8086 basically is a CPU. So if you have your laptop or if you have your desktop, if you open it, you will also find your CPU there. That CPU may be i3 or i5 or i7. It will also have pins. So similarly, 8086 CPU also has pins. How many pins? I'll just try to show you a Google image for 8086 CPU. Give me a minute. Let me just. Yeah. Are you seeing this? Just a minute. Let it open. Let it load. Oh no. This has gone. Yeah. You can see here, this is your 8086 CPU. And you have pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Similarly, here also 20. So totally how many pins are there? There are 40 pins. There are 40 pins. Okay. So about the purpose of each of the pin of the CPU of 8086, we are going to discuss. Is it fine? Am I making sense? Are you understanding? Are you listening to me? Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Great. Thank you, Rameshri. So we'll go further now. We'll look at the data and we try to discuss this 8086 pin diagram. How many pins you are seeing? You are seeing 40 pins. You are seeing how many pins? You are seeing 40 pins. Okay. This CPU is a 16-bit CPU. This CPU is a 16-bit CPU. Okay. But previously 4004, 8088, then 8085. So your 8088, 8085 were 8-bit CPUs. Were 8-bit CPUs. So 8086 can act as a single processor or multiple processor. 8086 can act as a single processor or a multiple processor. And you can also see here what is written here. Here it is written as maximum mode. And what is written here? Here it is written as minimum mode. So you can have minimum mode or maximum mode. Minimum mode means what? Single processor mode. Maximum mode means what? Multiple processor mode. So your CPU to improve performance, can be in maximum mode also, which will be a multiprocessor mode. If your CPU is working in minimum mode or a single processor mode, then the meaning of the pin number 31 will be like this, 30 will be like this. If your CPU is working in maximum mode, then the meaning of this pin number 31, 30 will be varying. Okay, so you can see here pin number 24 to pin number 31. The functionalities of these pins is varying whenever the mode changes from minimum mode to maximum mode. Whenever the mode changes from minimum mode to the maximum mode. So now let us look at the simplest one. I'll go with this. AD0, AD1, like this till AD14 here. Then again here there is AD15. Okay, but after this there is no AD. Now you have A16 and S3, A17 and S4, A18 and S5, A19 and S6. So wherever this letter A is there, that A stands for address. Wherever this letter A is there, that A stands for address. Wherever this letter D is there, that D stands for data. So wherever you find combined AD like this, AD0, AD1, AD2, AD14, AD15. So starting with AD0 till AD15, you have this common word, common letters A and D. So A stands for address, D stands for data. A stands for address, D stands for data. It means there is a sharing of by address lines and data lines, same pin. So same pin is being shared. So this is called as multiplexing. AD0 to AD15, AD0 to AD15 are address and data lines which are multiplexed. Address and data lines which are multiplexed. Now, how do I differentiate them? I'll be differentiating them whenever there is a clock cycle. We'll be discussing whenever we get time regarding the clock cycle. But in a clock cycle, there are different states: T1, T2, T3, like that. In T1 state, address lines will be active. Okay, while the data lines will be active in T2, T3, TW, and T4 state, where TW state is called as the wait state. Where TW state is called as the wait state. This is regarding this AD0 to AD15 lines. After AD15, what is there? A16, A17, A19, A18, A19. So these four. Then they are multiplexed with what? S3, S4, S5, S6. So this S3, S4, S5, S6, these lines are called as the status lines. These lines are called as the status lines. As far as A16, A17, A18, A19, these lines are called as the address lines. These lines are called as the address lines. So status information will be available. Status information will be available in the clock cycle from T2, T3, TW, and T4, while T1 will be for the address line. Just as I mentioned for address and data line, same thing will be there. Same thing will be there. If you look at S5, where is S5? S5 is pin number 36. It is multiplexed with A18 line. This S5 is basically for interrupt enable. It is basically for interrupt enable. While this S4 and S3 together, they'll be deciding which segment register is there, which segment register is being discussed. So let me check in the book whether the diagram is there. Yeah, I try to increase this font size. As you can see, this S4 and S3, this S4 and S3 together will be telling whether it is data, whether it is code, whether it is data, depending on together S4, S3 values will be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, like that. Now, after this A0 to A15, then A16 to A19, the next line which we are seeing is that BHE bar line. That BHE bar line, it is multiplexed with what? S7. Now, whenever the letter S comes, we know that it is for status. Whenever the letter S comes, it is for status. So S7 is for status only. S7 is for status only. But what is BHE bar? BHE bar stands for bus high enable. BHE bar stands for bus high enable. What is the purpose of this? If this BHE bar is said, we are saying that data transfer is occurring over the data lines from D8 to D15, higher order data lines. So D8 is here. From D8 to D15 means here. D8 to D15 data transfer is occurring. Higher order data transfer is occurring whenever this BHE bar is enabled. Whenever this BHE bar is enabled. As it is enabled means it will be low. It is enabled means it will be low. And that too, it will be in the T1 state of the cycle. As far as status is concerned, the status will be reflected in T2, T3, and T4. Okay. Next, let us go for after BHE bar. We have MN and MX. We know the meaning of this. How many modes are there? 8086 mode, 2 modes are there. What are the 2 modes? We have maximum mode and minimum mode. What is the meaning of minimum mode and maximum mode? The meaning of minimum and maximum mode performance. The next signal, the 32 pin we are seeing is RD bar. Okay, RD bar again is low. Okay, it is for short form for it. It is the short form for it. Okay, so it will indicate whether the signal is let us take the ready one. So the ready is basically you have many devices along with the CPU. So those devices as so ready actually know the purpose of reset. What the reset button does in the computer, same thing will be done by the reset. Okay. The current activity will be stopped and the execution starts at a location called as FFF0H. Then you have something called as clock. This is for giving the clock input. Okay. Then you have ground. You know the purpose of ground. This is, then you know what is VCC. You find some VCC. Here it is VCC. VCC is for 5-volt power supply. 5-volt power supply. Then you have, so M and IO bar line indicates what? M and IO bar line, here it is there. Where? In the minimum mode. In the minimum mode. So in the minimum mode, you are seeing M and IO bar. So M and IO bar, memory or IO. Memory or IO. Okay. So next one is INTA. Next one is INTA. There is something called as INTA. INTA again is low. It is for interrupt acknowledge. Then ALE for address latch enable. Then DTR, data transmit and receive. Then DEN, which is for data enable. These are all the lines in the minimum mode. Anyways, we'll be repeating about them. Today, objective is you will be listening to their long forms. We'll be trying to connect this pin diagram. We'll be trying to connect this pin diagram. So similarly, you have other lines. You have other lines like S2, S1, S0 for the maximum mode. This will be again what? These will be status lines only. These will be status line only. They'll be indicating the type of the operation. I try to show the diagram for that also. So this is the S2 bar, S1 bar and S0 bar. Okay. So you can look at the first line here. They indicate type of operation. Okay. And they'll be becoming active at T4. And look at this. What type of operation it is, whether it is interrupt acknowledge, whether it is read IO, write IO, halt, code access, read memory, write memory, and so on. Okay. So this is about the status line. Then there is lock bar. Okay. Then I'll speak about this lock bar in the coming session and rest of the signals in the coming session. Now I want to stop here. These are the sessions, and sometimes we may have to speed up a little bit and so on.